session, which is a PowerNote on AI at scale, balancing innovation, cost, and impact. The session is presented by Venkat Rangapuram, CEO and co-founder, Centific. He leads a global team focused on improving the relationship between people, technology, and business. His vision for Centific is to revolutionize the global tech services industry by shifting it towards a platform-based model that leverages data, intelligence, and experience to deliver business value. So can we please give it up for Mr. Venkat Rangapuram? A little louder. A little more louder. See, he's so slow in coming. We need to give him some strength. And yeah.
So, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, my special thanks to Prashant and HYSEA team for having me out here. Yeah. Okay. So it's really a privilege and an honor to talk to all of you in this beautiful afternoon here in Hyderabad. So personally, right, I'm Venkat, CEO and founder of Centific. Centific is an AI data foundry, and our vision and purpose is to train and deploy AI models for enterprises. So that's what we do as a company. I just had to clear my throat. Sorry. Okay, I landed from Riyadh this morning, and it's just coming out of jet lag. Yeah. Okay, so I'm the genesis of where we are today, right? So we are an AI data foundry, and then I have been associated with HYSEA for last 7 years. It's indeed been a great set of association, right? With HYSEA itself. So I was actually just talking about me personally, right? So Centific itself is an AI data foundry, and our business is in the area of training and deployment of AI models for enterprises. About me personally, right, Venkat as in me as a person, my DNA, and the constituents of what I am made and manufactured in India. My entire upbringing, right, has been in India, and I've been privileged to visit and live in several states in the country during a part of my upbringing and schooling life cycle, which is what has made me what I am today. And I'm truly grateful to the set of experiences that has made me what I am. You look at the graphic in this specific slide, it's a very, very telling slide, right? This, in fact, could be the room where all of us are present out here today, wherein I'm taking this session and giving this address. And all of you guys are listening to me, and maybe some of you guys are not listening to me, watching your mobile phones because the session is very boring. Whatever it is, we all need to be aware and acknowledge the fact that there are all these digital AI agents, right? It's AI agents, the co-pilots, digital assistants, digital twins, and the avatars that are actually present in this room as well. And those agents and the co-pilots are listening to this conversation, listening to my address. Maybe some of those models are training themselves. Some of them are taking copious notes and summarizing the minutes of the meeting. And some of the models are inferencing for actions and insights based on what's happening out here. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that AI indeed has arrived. It's very practical and it is very real, yeah. So the question is, how would the enterprises derive value out of the models and drive real valuable business outcomes? That's the real material question at hand. So if I think about the AI in action and the use cases of AI itself in the industry today, right? There are several ways in which we could explain it. One of the ways, it could be by industries, it could be by domains. But the dimension that I'm going to take here today is by the type of the data and the data sets that the model is handling to, to take specific actions and drive further experiences, yeah, right? So at the primary facet of this is what we call as text-based models, right? And these text-based models are not new in existence at all. They have been in the industry for a while, wherein if some of you have credit cards, then there is FICO score, and AI is not new. It's been there for a long, long time. And the only thing that has changed over the last few years is the models have become more and more advanced and complex with new techniques like the transformer-based NLP techniques that have completely revolutionized the way in which you assess and analyze contracts, documents, and any type of knowledge artifacts that exists out there, yeah, right? So in context of the text-based models itself, the type of use cases that we are seeing in the market today are, prevention of fraud for e-commerce, then email spams, then the more progressive use cases that have been built out over the last 12 to 15 months has been around online shopping concierge. Usually, your experience with any e-commerce platform would have been to search for a product and then it returns a set of static SKUs so that you can complete your buying experience, right? So these experiences have now been converted into more of a concierge experience where the agent consults with you depending on your problem statement, thereby you get a set of results to complete your buying experience. Yeah, so it's more concierge experiences rather than static search results that gets rendered to you, right? So all of these type of systems have been deployed and productionized in the enterprises already. Okay. So that sort of is a big fraction of the adoption that we are seeing in the enterprises today. The second segment, which is a little bit more advanced, is multimodal type of data telemetry, right? And when I say multimodal, imagine CCTVs in its simplest format, to video streaming, which is a lot more complex and more data intensive, to extremely data-rich videos wherein it's not just the videos, but there could be a multilingual context. There is context of babies crying. There could be gunshots out there, dogs barking. So how do you make sense of all of that and drive experience and insights to the end users and the ecosystem, so there is further value that can be driven, right? So that's the multimodal telemetry. So we are seeing a lot of use cases and adoption in this as well, where the projects are more in conceptual stage, wherein the minimum viable product and the MVP is being defined as we speak. The typical customers here would be, say, a police department, a metro transit, any type of public space environment, yeah. It's malls, the events, the retail point of sale outlets, and so on and so forth, right? Any type of a public space where there is cameras and sensors from which insights and actions can be driven is where we are seeing significant adoption of models that can analyze and dissect multimodal telemetry and context, okay? So this is the second set of use cases that we are seeing in the market today. The last set, which I'm personally very passionate about, which is more in the blueprint stage, is how do you connect the different agentic AI experiences across different types of functions and ecosystems to be able to drive value seamlessly through the ecosystem and the value chain, right? So to actually put it in perspective, let me give you an example of a recent blueprint that we are drafting with a very well-funded State Department and federal government and a consortium of partners, the business enterprises like hotels as well as technology partners. And in this specific blueprint, the concept is smart tourism, right? So how do you make the tourism smarter and smarter? How do you bring AI at the front and center so the experiences become more enriched is actually the concept. But in this big concentric circle, the innermost circle is smart hotels, right? So deploying agentic AI experiences in a smart hotel would mean automated kiosks, some sort of an agent that's actually handling your check-in and check-out, handling the queries in regards to any type of questions that you may have, right? The local restaurants nearby, what time is the gym open, and all of those type of questions being handled by an agentic AI avatar or a system is sort of the innermost circle of the smart hotels. At the back end of it would obviously be productivity tasks and automation for the hotel operators itself. The circle outside of that is actually what we would call as smart hospitality, wherein how do you actually connect the experiences of any guest that's staying in a smart hotel to local hospitality providers, and that could be retailers, the merchants, your barber shops, in a very, very seamless and an in-context way, right? The concept here is the smart hotels drives further enriched experiences into smart hospitality, and that drives further value into the economy, thereby, connecting the whole ecosystem and driving transactional and dollar value throughout. For an economy to be able to implement a protocol and a system like this, the governments are actually taking the first step, wherein they are creating open network protocols based on a system of trust and safety, where a lot of enterprises and the providers and consumers can participate and exchange value for the benefit of the whole economy and the whole society. Yeah. Okay. So these are the different ways in which the technology of AI is manifesting into real potential value for enterprises. While I think the possibilities are tremendous, and there are many use cases that could be adopted in the enterprises, the real challenge for enterprises is how do you deploy these models and solve for some fundamental issues that are in front of them as of today. And that would be, I'm sure, you would have covered this in several other sessions, wherein the deployments of AI and the strategy itself is very fragmented and siloed in any enterprise. The infrastructure cost in the last session, and there were talks about how do you bring down the infra and the compute costs of AI, right? So there is high infra and compute costs that needs to be dealt with. And of course, last but not the least, there is very limited customization that has happened for enterprises to actually really adopt AI and weave it into their business functions. Now, at the most principal level, if you think of any type of an enterprise AI deployment, the architecture would comprise of these three things. There is compute, there is, which is your GPUs, CPUs, and the hyperscalers and so on and so forth. Then there is the models there is constant innovation in the models, right? The generic purpose model last week, 2 weeks back, DeepSeek announced, and it completely changed the cost economics of at the price points of where the foundational model stack is offered at. So the models is the second leg of that. But all of these functional models, actually, they need to be grounded or hardened for very, very specific enterprise situations or enterprise domains for enterprises to start adopting it. And this is what we call as fine-tuning, right, in the context of an AI life cycle. And that is the gap that the enterprises need to solve for. So just based on the current schematics of what we have seen, right, in context of the practical applications and implementation of AI in the enterprises, my advice to enterprises would be to sort of first think about how do they solve for the gaps, right? The gaps between what the foundational models or the open source models offer to them off the shelf to what they actually need. And this is about creating a strategy for their data foundry itself, right? Which is how do you apply the model for real business scenarios like settlements and promotions and commerce fraud preventions and so on and so forth. This is this concentric circle called the AI data foundry, which I think should be the starting point and the first step that every enterprise needs to take in their AI journey. Yeah. So that would be my recommendation given the type of initiatives that we have seen in the market today. So with that said, I think within the Telangana government and standing here, I see there is a substantial representation of who's and who's and pretty much great companies in the world across the model, compute, and the application stack in this ecosystem. So I truly think there is a great opportunity for Telangana to take the first step towards fostering an ecosystem to win in this race for AI. And we are pretty much part and parcel of this ecosystem and would love to contribute with our own IP and know-how in this life cycle. Yeah. Okay. With that said, thank you, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to come in and speak to all of you today about this. And I apologize for the first few minutes. I just couldn't get the presentation moving and had to gain the ground. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venkat. May I invite Mr. Raghu Bodupalli, VP and Center Head Infosys Gachibowli, and member of committee HYSEA, to please felicitate the speaker. And the mementos are presented by HYSEA and ICICI Bank. Thank you for being with us here today, despite of the jet lag. Thank you.